Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Charura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Thou son of Vasudeva, the supreme bliss of Devaki, thy mother, the destroyer of the evil forces of Kamsa and Chanura, thee, O Krishna, as Guru and God, we salute. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verses 1 and 2. The chapter is the sovereign knowledge and mystery. Sovereign knowledge and the sovereign mystery. It's a wonderful title. And the chapter does justice to that. Why is it called sovereign knowledge? We have all types of knowledge, plenty, all types of knowledge. But this knowledge is the king of all knowledges. In the Upanishads, we have a saying there are two types of knowledge, the lower and the higher. Dve vidhe veditavye. There are two types of knowledge. All the other types of knowledge, all types of secular knowledge, that includes even the Vedas. And the higher knowledge is that through which the imperishable is known. That's the reason why this knowledge is the king of all knowledge. Because through this knowledge, the reality is known. And mystery, that's the greatest mystery. We've been talking about various types of mysteries, and we love mysteries. We are very mystery-mongering folks. Make everything a mystery. But this is the supreme, the sovereign mystery, the king of all mysteries. If you can solve that, you solve all the riddles of the world and the mysteries of the world. So we have, in the previous chapter, chapter 8, we have seen that the descriptions of reality has been given. The two paths, the path of return and the path of non-return, are delineated. The other path also, the path of liberation in life, is also delineated. The meditations that have been given there have been, as it were, through the processes of yoga. You control, you close up all the senses and hold your mind in your heart. You start raising your heart, that mind from the heart through the subtle nerve called the Sushumna, and raise it gradually to the throat and then to the eyebrows, and then holding it with the power of yoga, chant Om and release yourself from body. These two paths of yoga, and the path of return we've seen, the dark path that leads you to a place where there are deities guiding you, and then on the exhaustion of your merits, you return back. So this gradual liberation has been enumerated there for the yogis. And if it is thought that, oh, there's only this way to liberation. No. So this chapter has commenced in order to show that there is a liberation in life. You get liberated while you are free. You don't need to go through any paths. The moment you go through any paths, that is a limitation, however subtle and fine they might be. When the reality is all pervading and here, if you can intuit it here, you don't need to go anywhere else. People say, let's go to that temple and let's go to that mosque and let's go to this synagogue and we find God there. Really? Then you go there. There are some who say, why bother about going all over the places? Let's go in. And that is the secret. Okay. So in that instantaneous realization which can be done here, the 8th chapter had given us a glimpse of unshakable devotion or uninterrupted devotion, ananya cheta satatam. That is when your mind can be absorbed in the thoughts of God. There arises that tremendous devotion, and that can break all the bondages. So here we have. And he has said that I am kind of easily attainable through devotion. Okay. So much for this kind of to show the transition between the 8th and the 9th chapters. So there in the 8th chapter, all these paths have been shown. Here they are going to show you the knowledge through which you get special knowledge. What is that special knowledge? It's realization. It's saying jnana and vijnana. Knowledge and its realization, vijnana. Special knowledge. That is, you have made that knowledge yours. You have become one with the knowledge. If I say I know this book, I am different from the book. And then you say, what's there in the book? All the knowledge. When you make that all this knowledge yours, you become one with that knowledge. That is special knowledge. There is no distinction between the subject and the object anymore. So the nature of reality that has to be meditated upon, and the goal of meditation that has been stated in the 8th chapter. In the 9th chapter, the commentator says, after ascertaining the nature of reality that is to be known, the goal of that person who is steadfast in knowledge and devotion is being stated. Simple as that. Okay. Now we want something quick. You go to various shops and you get all the cheap stuff. Then you go to one shop which you get the best, but you can afford it. So you can work for it, and then you can buy that thing, whatever. So we have been busy with hundreds of inconsequential, insignificant, useless, weakening thoughts and knowledge, and that knowledge has always, most of the time, been negative. You're a useless fellow, hopeless, nothing will happen. You will not be able to attain anything. Yeah. So you have the physics and the chemistry and the biology, all these various knowledge, all types of knowledges, all get together. But there is something that ties all these various knowledges together. What is that? That's the knowledge of reality. in the Upanishads it is said, when you know the nature of one lump of clay, you know all the clay in the universe. That's the principle. You know one lump, yeah, I know this. So if the moment you know this piece of wood, you know all the wood in the universe. Well, problem if you don't apply it. So application is necessary. So the first verse is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Blessed Lord said, to you who are not given to cavilling, means finding faults in small-minded people, I shall speak of this highest secret itself, which is knowledge combined with realization, by knowing which or realizing which you shall be free from samsara, free from evil, free from repeated births and deaths. So this the Lord himself is declaring, yeah, I'm going to tell you. So the word tu, idam tu te, to you, te, to you. Tu is, making a distinction between the knowledge that is going to be stated now and that which was stated earlier. Okay? And he's speaking about the qualifications of an aspirant to reality. The person, like Swamiji says, to a grumbler, all tasks are distasteful. You're constantly negative, you're constantly fault-finding, constantly biased, constantly small-minded. And the commentator says that asuya, that is not to cavil, anasuya, not to cavil, asuya is to cavil, is even finding faults in good things. When the person's mind is free from this, that person can now be competent to understand and to receive this knowledge. So, to you who are not given to cavilling, I shall speak of this highest secret, which is knowledge combined with realization, by knowing which you shall be free from all evil. Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñatva moksha se shubhat. You will be free, moksha, you will attain that liberation, you will become free from all. So we have what knowledge? All knowledge. See, Sri Ramakrishna says the almanac predicts the rainfall for the year. If you squeeze the almanac, you're not going to get a drop of water. So people have been studying and studying and studying and studying all types. And after a while you squeeze them, you don't get anything out of them. They all dry. So what's the difference? What type of knowledge is saying? That which has been spoken of earlier in this book, and which is based on authority. What authority? Vedic authority and the authority of experience. Whose experience? Of all the sages. So this is the authority. What's the proof of this? Many sages have experienced this truth and they have spoken about it. And this becomes a source of knowledge. When you go and study, suppose a child goes to kindergartens and the teacher starts teaching the child A and B, then you should stop it. Why should everything start from A? Why not Z? Well, no, you can, you just read now, you can study, then later on what you want to do, you can do. You don't question this premise. It's called Shastra. Praman is evidence, Shastra, the evidence from the scriptures, and which has been authenticated over and over. If the scripture has not been authenticated, you are in deep trouble. Then you'll have to put in the argument of have faith. There's no faith or belief here. It is not belief. It is an experience. And you've got to follow that methodology so that you can also experience the same. So that which relates to the nature of reality, Brahman. Yes, all knowledge does not speak about this Brahman. There is only one knowledge that speaks. It's called the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman. And we must be happy to know that this knowledge has been protected for more than 4,000-5,000 years. By whom? They had these swords and spears? No. They cultivated this knowledge. A long tradition of sages. They cultivated this knowledge, transmitted down to the next generation, the next generation, next generation. In most cases, the sage who experienced would transfer the entire experience to the next generation. Like in the case of Sri Ramakrishna, when he saw Swami Vivekananda for the second time, he touched him and gave him the highest experience. And he said, wait, what are you doing? Okay, you're not ready yet. Okay, it'll come in time. So these were these sages. There's no need to believe. You have faith in yourself, not in that book. So and so said. You don't have to bother about that. Can you do what they have done? Then. So this is called Brahma Vidya. That's why the tradition of this lineage is called a Brahma Vidya Sampradaya. So it has taken the very best of people to dedicate their lives and to realize it, and that is the protection. They've cultivated, handed over next and next. So these towered above ordinary humanity, these sages. Sometimes when you read about them, wow, how could they be like this? So this is the authority. The entire spiritual literature is authoritative because it has been experienced over and over and over again. So this knowledge is a direct means to liberation. So the knowledge of Brahman is the highest knowledge, and it is the only way to get this liberation in life. Okay. Now, when you say, what is knowledge? It is because the commentator says it takes purification of the mind, devotion to God, renunciation of all fruits of actions, then absorption. Now this takes time, and one who has put in such an effort truly becomes eminent. So it may take 1 month, it may take 1 year, it may take 10 years, it may take one whole lifetime. It might take lifetimes. Yeah, you keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Okay. So this knowledge of what? Guhyatamam, it's the highest secret. And what is this? Why is it called the highest secret? Why does it deserve to be called the highest or the greatest secret? because its subject matter is extremely subtle, very subtle. And you need to have a subtle mind. A person who's gross, or the mind is full of tamas, cannot understand spirituality. You need a kind of a stick to beat the guy and to put a little sense into the guy, An intelligent person will pick up things immediately. Okay, you said it once, I've understood it. So I'm just giving you the range of, you can say, different types of minds. Swami Vivekananda says, the guy, the dullard, does not understand. He can understand a few slaps. For those guys, some other things have been given, as means. So these guys, whose minds are extremely fine, the teachings have become different. So, since Arjuna has an abundance of these qualities of an ideal student, the Lord says, I will speak about this to you. And as you've seen, one of the qualifications is not fault finding. Everything is defective, everything is bad, everything is negative, everything is... So, even once your mind matures, you can understand the relationship of one thing with the other, and you'll see the dynamics played out on a small as well as on a large scale. And you will understand the whole sequence of events, and so you are not going to criticize immediately. You will hold back your criticism, you will hold back your value judgments. Okay, let's see the whole thing unfold, and then I'll give you my judgment if you want. But generally they don't judge. So idam, this, he's saying this, what is this? This knowledge. Idam tu te guhyatam, the most guhyatamam. Guhya is secret. Secret. So he said, knowledge with realization. Jnana and Vijnana. Sri Ramakrishna, if you read Sri Ramakrishna's books, you will find he speaks about the state of a Vijnani, the state of a person who sees and experiences the reality constantly. He sees all this as Brahman. We are seeing all this as the world of objects. That person sees everything as Brahman. At one time, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting down and trying to teach Swami Vivekananda, like the Guru will do that, asking him to read that Ashtavakra Samhita. It's a textbook on, rather it's a primer on Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. And Swamiji was he wasn't willing to accept certain conclusions of these sages. So these sages must be crazy. The pot is God and everything is God. So he gets up, leaves the room and sits down with his friend, and they are both laughing and joking. Can you imagine? This everything is Brahman. And his friend Hazra, they are also laughing. And Sri Ramakrishna comes out and, what do you do? Why are you laughing? And he touches Swami Vivekananda. And immediately, he's saying, Swami Vivekananda says, in a twinkling of an eye, he sees that reality called Brahman. So we just a twinkling of an eye. Because of course that touch is he is a guru, so he can give you that touch. So he transferred his realization directly into him. And for 3 whole days, Swami Vivekananda experience everything as that Brahman. The Brahman with form, the reality with, it's called Saguna Brahman. And then after 3 days, his mind came down a little. He saw everything as a dream. Everything is a dream. And then again his mind came a little down, then he saw this world as it is. So this is that knowledge and realization experience. Sri Ramakrishna was always in that mood, in that state. So this is knowledge and experience. And once you understand the reality like this, you're free. What binds us? Ignorance. There are two types of ignorance. One individual and the other is cosmic. The cosmic ignorance, avidya it's called, has created this whole universe. And the individual ignorance, me, stupid guy, has created my own world inside of me. Can you see that? We all have our internal worlds. There's an external world outside, which is common to everybody, to plants and to birds and to animals. It's common to everybody. It doesn't belong to you. Only humans have been stupid and thinking that this belongs to us. This country belongs to me. And we're fighting wars and killing each other and all this stupidity. This is common property of every living being. And as humans, we have our own internal world, the likes and dislike, this and that, my level of knowledge and my level of understanding, all these kind of. I have my own internal world there. I am the boss there. If the others don't acknowledge me out in this world, it doesn't matter. When I go in my room, close my eyes, and I'm supposed to meditate on God, I meditate in my internal world of imagination. And there I create and recreate all the things which I'm missing out. Grandiose visions and imaginations, all this. That is the individual ignorance. It takes the real for the unreal, and the unreal for the real. Okay. Yeah, it's opposite kind of. So that's why it's called ignorance, and which can be cut with knowledge. So this, once you get this liberation, you're free from everything. Okay, we'll take the second verse because it took a little time because I had to lay down the introduction. We'll go a little faster now. This is the sovereign knowledge, the sovereign secret, the best sanctifier, directly realizable. It is dharmic, that's righteous, and very easy to practice. And the results are imperishable. You say, it's very easy. Really? What is easy can be perishable quickly. The things that you have not paid a heavy price for it. It might come and it might go. No. The results are imperishable. So, he's speaking about this knowledge and this great secret as greatest purifier, greatest sanctifier. There's nothing more purifying as knowledge. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram. There's nothing more purifying than knowledge. Oh, we need to have a bath and we are all dirty. We went down to the desert and gritty all over. Let's have a bath, it'll clean. That's external cleanliness. So the internal cleanliness is done only through knowledge. Knowledge of what? Of the reality. Over and over. So this is the best pure. People will say, I'm so impure, I'm a sinner, I'm a this. Why don't you stop with all this kind of useless talk about yourself being a hopeless, worthless, useless guy, and start understanding this knowledge of the reality. That will purify you. So this is the best purifier. So is it very far away? Do we have to go somewhere? No, it's directly realizable. Here, pratyaksha avagamam is like the fruit in the palm of one's hands. Do you need to authenticate that fruit in the palm of your hands? Is there a fruit in my hand? Maybe no. No, I don't know. You can see it. It's there, tangible. It's within your grasp. This is the example that Vedanta gives. Let's just a fruit in the palm of hand, directly realizable. This is the dharma, righteous. Do you need to do anything shady to get this? Shortcuts? No. You don't have to do anything shady, any shortcuts, any this, any that. No. You don't have to trample other people over and over. Dharma. It's righteous. The path is straight. We have taken all the crooked paths, and we're saying, where's God? We got into a maze. The highway is just open, a freeway, as they say. There's a freeway here. Take that freeway. We don't want that freeway. We don't want to be free. So we want to get into that maze. So go. So here he's saying righteous. Very easy to practice. Oh, it's very difficult. Maybe in my next birth I'll try to take it up again. Who knows you'll get a next birth or no. And whether we'll get a human body or no. That also is a big thing. So here it is. Very easy to practice. So he's laying down these, you can say, beautiful, you can say, attractive, you can say, qualities of knowledge. This is in order to praise that knowledge and also to draw your attention to it. That you are also eligible for this. In fact, you are only eligible for this. You want the best. Everybody wants the best. Take the best. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshavagaman Dharmam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Sukam Kartum. Su is good. Sukam, easy, pleasant, and Kartum is to do. Pleasant to do, pleasant to perform. Otherwise, spiritual life becomes a kind of it's a pain. Oh, why do I have to get up in the morning? I need a few more hours of sleep. But no, I have to get up and then I will go and sit down and my back is hurting, my legs are hurting. Why did all these guys invent all these things? Painful. Oof. Then go and do Ram Krishna, Hare Ram Krishna, Hare Ram Krishna, Om Namah Shivaya, this, that. Painful. And you have to do fasting, you have to do this and you have to do that. Why? Why did you make all these kind of things difficult? Yeah, you say that it's very easy to practice. So once you have love for that reality, you will be able to sacrifice everything for that. Because you don't have love, everything is painful. Sitting is painful, meditating is painful, doing japa is painful, chanting is painful, eating is painful, sleeping is painful, this place is painful, everything, the people around you are painful, miserable. Where is the reality I had come to search? Where is that? It's here. I don't see anything. You don't love that reality. So, this is the reason why the Lord is speaking about this as it's good, it's great, it's easy, and you can do it. until unless you don't have that self-confidence, you're not going to take that necessary step in that right direction. You're going to hesitate, should I not, should I take the plunge? No, I don't know what's going to happen. Everything is uncertain. Maybe I'll realize God, maybe I won't realize God, who knows? I'll be wasting my life. No. So this highest knowledge, this greatest secret is within your own grasp. Okay. So here it is. The commentator says, when he's talking about a purifier, we've discussed the highest knowledge and the highest secret, the greatest purifier, sanctifier. What happens is we make resolutions. I'm not going to do this year. And after a couple of days or weeks, I'm back to my old habits. My resolution is, I have to wait for the next year then. So, and even if I stop doing that mischievous thing, those old memories are still there in my mind. They are the causes that will give rise to the effects. So that's why a guy is free from all alcohol, and then after a few years the guy again goes back. What happened? It means he or she never conquered that particular, you can say, urge. He wasn't purified enough. So this knowledge goes down to the very heart of things, to the very subconscious mind, and destroys. It's not just, it purifies you, okay. You take a little prasad, it purifies you. Take a little sanctified water, it purifies. No. This knowledge goes down to the depths and uproots all those old things which are troubling. That's why it's called greatest purifier. And as you said, it is directly realizable. Pratyaksha. Aksha is actually I. Pratyaksha, when the I goes there, where you see it. And when you see it, it is your first evidence. See, when you see something, all your senses follow, you see. Yeah. That's why the major part of the backside of your brain is more involved in, they call a visual cortex, and everything here. It's a lot of parts of the brain involved in vision. So once you get a glimpse of this, once you get an orientation, all your senses are going to follow that. And as your senses are following that, your body also will follow. You noticed? You look at a particular cookie and then say, hey, I like to have that. You see that thing and your body goes down there. You'll drag that body, come here. And it'll tell the mind, now eat this. And, well, tell me what it was like. That's why it's called a leader, netra, netri. So, the moment you orient your vision to the reality, your senses and your body and everything is going to follow that. That is why they're saying that you have to, it's directly realizable, and go up there. And then you're saying dharmam, yeah, it's kind of, it's not divorced from righteousness. Why? Because dharma is a result of desirelessness. When you have less of desires for the external world, then the dharma arises. What is dharma? That which holds everything together. It integrates it. So that integrating factor, if it is not present, you're going to have a lot of trouble. So you're trying to meditate and one thought comes and you won't even realize it has taken you to Antarctica and made you feel that cold, and you're sitting down with the penguins. And then, what's that? Okay. You won't even know because your mind, your body, your senses have not been integrated. So the more you wean your mind and senses away from this world, from this external world, the more righteous one becomes. The more integrated one is, the more righteous one is. Okay. And we have seen easy to practice and imperishable. The results are imperishable. What do you mean results? It's spoken of as a result, but you see what happens is when you attain that imperishable, akshara, that's what Yajnavalkya tells, that the sage, great sage Yajnavalkya describes to another sage, a female sage. We don't call her a female sage, she's also a sage. Okay, she was also the great Brahmavadini, great, you can say, knower of Brahman. So he says, O Gargi, one who in this world, without knowing this immutable, this imperishable, offers oblations in the fire, performs sacrifices, and undergoes penances, austerities, even for many thousand years, finds all these acts perishable. So without knowing that reality, all what you do is perishable. When you know that, your deeds become even imperishable. Okay. So you attain the imperishable. Why is it imperishable? Because we see everything as perishable. Everything perishes. Characterized as death, characterized as birth. Yeah, birth also is a form of death. So here, everything is perishable. That is always transforming. It's constantly being transformed. So what do? At the same time, you have ideas of, if this is all perishable, it's all transforming constantly, there must be something which is imperishable. There has to be. Vedanta, of course, declares it so, because the Upanishads and the experience of sages say that there is that imperishable. So he's saying that Akshara Brahma, that imperishable reality, he, O Gargi, who departs from this world without knowing this imperishable reality, that guy's life is gone, perishable. Non-perishable, we have non-perishable food and perishable food, and well, ultimately everything is perishable except the reality. It does not suffer any change, any mutation. Okay. So much for this supreme knowledge and supreme mystery, the kingly knowledge. Why is it called kingly and kingly? So, of all the knowledges, Vidyanam Raja. So there's, in the grammar, there's a special rule in the grammar. Just to put it on record, it's called Upasarjani. So that Vidyanam Raja. So it's like of all the knowledges, this is the kingly knowledge, the supreme, the royal knowledge, or the sovereign knowledge. Of all the secrets, Guhyanam, this is the king, the supreme. So there is a rule in grammar that takes the word behind and puts it in the front. Raja. Raja is a king, kingly, royal. royal secret and royal knowledge. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Get the first ones. Okay. Thank you all over the place. Thank you also. Okay. He said, Jivan Mukta is liberated while living, but if such a person wants to have a vision of God, does he have to do penance like as in the case of an ordinary person? No! How is that possible? When you say a person is liberated in life, there's no question. The vision of God is constant. Yet the Bhagavatam says, such is the glory of Hari, that is Vishnu, that even sages who have become realized, who are free from all bondages, who delight only in the Atman, even they worship Hari. Atma Ramasya Munaya Nirghranto Api Mumukshabhi. That's a beautiful. So, you're talking about an ordinary sage who was trying to get a vision of God. This person has transcended all names and forms of God and has gone to the absolute. That's the state of Vijnana. Swamiji, when we recite Tyagi 2 times, then we become who or what? Yeah, not 2 times. Sri Ramakrishna says, if you reverse the word Gita, 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 it's one who renounces. One who. So renunciation is taught in the Vedas, in this book. So it's not 2 times. Keep on doing that over and over. And in the meantime, you can read the book also, Gita, now and then. Okay? So that will help you. Yes, when you think of the reality, you reflect that reality which is in you. So if you are saying Tyagi, that idea of renunciation will be reflected in you, in your thoughts and words and deeds. Bhagavad Gita, Shankara Bhashya is the best Bhashya. Shankara Bhashya, the commentary by Shankaracharya, he has taken a philosophical view called Advaita Vedanta because he was the propounder of that. There are other commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita like Sri Bhashya and all these things. So there are various commentaries. Don't go in for the best right now. Take a simple translation of the Bhagavad Gita and start. If you can get a word-to-word translation, like there's something called a Chid Bhavananda's Gita, you could go in for that. Thank you. Sue is also saying thank you. Bhavani is saying, what is the cause of external ignorance which is common to all beings? Does it not a projection? No. There is, because the external world is not your projection. What you do is you superimpose your ideas on the external things. Like, oh, this is good, this is bad. You are superimposing your ideas upon this external world. So this external cause of the universe called ignorance, it is called Mula Avidya, the root ignorance. And what is it called? It is called Maya also. It is called Prakriti, nature. It is called pradhana, chief. It is called avyakta, non-manifest. Because there is one seed from which everything emerges. You, me, everything. Everything emerges from that seed. And since that seed has got the power of covering the reality, that is why it's called ignorance. So how do we overcome this? By understanding that this power belongs to God. God and His power. Okay? Shiva and Shakti. Though they are inseparable, yet this is the power of God. So how do you overcome it? The Bhagavad Gita itself says, this maya of mind, this ignorance is very difficult to cross. Very difficult. But those who take refuge in me will cross over. Daivi, and this maya is not ordinary thing. It's divine. Daivi, Hesha, Gunam. This divine maya made up of the qualities, the three qualities, is difficult to cross. Mama maya durati, very difficult to cross. Mamevaya prapadya, those who take refuge in me cross over this. So the moment your individual ignorance goes away, you will find everything is become revealed to you. That same external world, which was a projection of that the primal ignorance, vanishes, and what you see is the reality, tangible, inside, outside, everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace. Who is Krishna? Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is God Himself. Om, peace.